They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet 'cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
Guess whose birthday it is? Yes, it's mine. Hey everyone, I am so happy to be here with you. You know, Seth and James asked me to do this second evening, and they didn't even know that it was going to be my birthday. And then I told them it's going to be my birthday, and so here we are on my birthday. How is everyone? I hope you're good. I'm happy to be back here on Stars in the House for the Actors Fund. Oh, people are typing in already. Oh, I must be important. Okay. Well, I'm happy to be back here. Thank you, Seth and James, for the Actors Fund. Do you know that we have raised, okay, here it is, $420,850, okay, for the Actors Fund. That's a lot of good money, y'all. Okay, and I hope you keep it up. So I'm happy to be here with Act Two Now What. For those of you who were with me last time, you know what Act Two Now What is. Oh, fellow Leo, Kristen Swanson. Hey, Chris. Oh, Justin Squiggs. I know I'm going all over the place because I'm just so happy to be here. Justin Squiggs, his birthday is today too. What are the chances of that? The same day and the same age, 36. So, yeah, so many of you who were with me the last time know that Act Two Now What came about because I turned 50 and my whole world kind of turned around. I was going out for an audition for Chicago, and my agent literally said to me, Brenda, they're going younger, so I don't know what's going to happen. I was like, younger than what? Jesus Christ. The one show that does have mature women in it are now going younger. I don't understand that. I don't get that. But anyway, I digress. So that's how I came up with Act Two Now What. And I did a seminar in 2015 for women over 50. And we just kind of got together and talked about, you know, how life was changing, and for theater women, how life is changing in the theater, women who are outside of the theater, how life is changing, how all of a sudden you became the forgotten woman, and you're still fierce and fabulous, but it's that age thing that, I don't know, that gets to everyone. So I got together and did Act Two Now What. Oh, hi, Lee Summers. Oh, and Willa Jeff. Happy birthday to me. Yes, thank you. So I got together and I did a seminar called Act Two Now What. And at the time, I had no money, and God sent me a job on Norwegian Cruise Lines. Now, a lot of times people in the business and theater, we used to poo-poo, ooh, cruise lines, but you know what, this doll right here, she was very happy to get that job. And in that, I met a gentleman by the name of Offense Mokwani. Now, Offense is from South Africa. And I was thinking the other day, okay, how are we all going to come out of all of this stuff that's going on in the world? How are we going to open some doors? How are we going to close other doors? And I realized back in 2015, a door opened for me that was amazing. And it led me to something else and meeting Offense. And at that time, I was getting ready to turn 60. And I wanted to do something for myself. So in talking to Offense, he was like, you should come to South Africa. Okay, he didn't really sound like that, but you know. Anyway, so I was like, the next time I am off the ship, I'm going to go to South Africa. And you know what? I did my Eat, Pray, I called it Eat, Pray, Live. Because sometimes we are going to have to close certain doors. When all of this pandemic stuff is done, we're going to have to close some doors and we're going to have to open some doors. So back then, I opened a door for myself and I went and visited Offense Mokwani and his family. So Hudson, let's roll the video. They took me on an amazing journey, my Eat, Pray, Live journey. And I'm going to share it. Oh my God, such an amazing trip for my act two. And that's what this is going to be about for us when we come out of all of this. Now, I'm sure you're saying, now, how does that tie into what's going on? Well, my first guest, Amra-Faye Wright, is from South Africa, and she did Chicago the musical. We never got to do it together. She starred as Velma Kelly. We never got to do the show together. But when I was going to South Africa on my sojourn, I was talking to her about it, and she was like, "You're gonna love it. It's gonna be fabulous." And we became really, really good friends. Now, Amra-Faye has done a lot of stuff. She's been doing Velma Kelly for over 20 years on Broadway in the UK, in London. Now, I already told her that I'm gonna destroy some of these, the names of these awards she got. She did Chicago on Broadway, of course, and she started the original UK tour, and then London's West End, Europe, US tour, New Zealand. She became a regular in Japan, and I believe she did it in Japanese. Okay, she's fierce. All right, I could barely do it in English, but that's a whole other thing. She won the Naledi and Fleur du Cap Awards, but I'm going to let her tell you about her journey and her act too. So, Hudson, can we bring in my girl?
Hi! Happy birthday!
Thank you. Now, how are you?
I'm good. I'm as good as anybody can be.
I know. And so you know what I'm going to do? I put together a little tape for you as well. So Hudson, can we roll Amra's tape? Some of these photos are just amazing. Oh my God. That's my favorite. Oh my God. So now that was in South Africa, right?
That was in South Africa, and that's with Greg Butler there and Jason Patrick Sam.
Yes.
Took them out to do that show there.
Oh my God. Don't we just love Greg Butler?
We do. We love him to death.
Yes. Greg put me in the show. I'm sure he put you in the show, didn't he?
He did put me in the show. He put me in the show, and he taught me everything I know about Chicago.
Wow. Oh, and Brandy. Oh my goodness.
Wow. But Brenda, haven't we seen a parade of stars and celebrities come in and out of that show? Huh?
Oh, yes, we have. And we stuck like glue, didn't we?
Well, yeah, gratefully so.
Now you are the longest running Velma, aren't you?
Did I overtake you?
Yes, you did. I believe you did.
Then I am.
Yes. Now tell me something. When did you actually come to the U.S. to like really stay and do the show and be here?
Well, I left South Africa because I was married to a man who was immigrated to England. And so I went with him there, and that's how I didn't have a very sane trajectory into show business. I didn't train as a musical theater person, and I wasn't ever really going to. It wasn't a dream because I didn't know much about it. So I did all bits and pieces of just about everything I could get my hands on. So when Chicago came along, I didn't really know what I was doing.
Wow. And what year was that, the first year?
What's that?
What was the first year when Chicago came along?
2001. In fact, Gary Christ was training me to go into the show, and 2011 happened the night before we opened in Manchester. I know it was tragic and bizarre. But anyway, I had gone to England with my husband, and through a friend of a friend, I knew I need to get an agent somehow. So I'd gone to visit someone that I had done Sandy in Greece in South Africa, and the director was British, and he said, "Come and see me when you're in England." And I did, and I had a book of pictures of myself because I did numerous one-woman shows in South Africa. You have to make your own work there a lot of the time. Wow. So I did that, and I took him some pictures, and he happened to have a bowler hat on.
Okay.
Hey, they are auditioning for Chicago. You want to go? And I said, yes, I'll go.
And that's how I got my first role. I mean, I got the role of Velma there, and that is strange. And I don't want to be glib about it, or I'm ever so grateful that happened to me. But I didn't know what I was doing at that point. I didn't know what I was getting into. It was only, and I was in England, and then I did all over the world before I came to Broadway. In fact, I went back to South Africa to do the show there, and Barry and Fran happened to go down to Cape Town on a vacation to see the wine farms, and they popped in to see the show.
Oh my God!
They took me to Broadway, and that's how that happened.
Oh my God! Amazing!
Yes.
Wow!
Honestly, the world is much smaller than we realize, isn't it?
It really is. And yeah, Chicago has really, really embraced so many women too. So many women our age and it really, really has done that. Have you found though that being a certain age, it has limited you in certain things and ways?
Yes. It's also, yes, it certainly has in a lot of physical ways, but it's also freeing. I found myself being freed of things that I thought were important. And so I didn't work as hard, and yet it was more effective. And that is the journey that I'm on at the moment. Not to work too hard, but to be twice as effective, right? Yes. I don't want to work that hard. No.
Absolutely. You shouldn't have to work that hard.
Nobody should have to work that hard.
Right. And you were still wonderful in the show too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I, of course, I was in the show when all the theaters closed. So now I guess that was my exit music. No bells and whistles on that one. Just don't come in.
There you go. There you go. But now you do have an act too, because aren't you doing real estate? Aren't you?
I was. I decided I would do that. I was I actually was investing in properties and flipping them. But I lost interest in it for a while because first of all, I found it too difficult to do that and give all the energy I needed to give to the show. So it's on the burner for the moment. But I started painting. So that's yes. So I did a part of a fine art degree about 35 years ago when I was a showgirl. I was a showgirl in Sun City. And I did that, and I stopped when I gave birth to my second child. And I hadn't painted since until I started painting murals backstage.
Right.
And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, and I picked up some oils and some canvases, and I've been at it ever since, and I'm getting better. So So that's that. I don't know about performing again. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I've written a number of shows. I've written 3 shows.
Wow. Oh, my God. Now, you have two children?
I do. 2 girls, yes. One lives in Manchester in England, and she's a chiropractor, and the other one lives in Johannesburg.
Wow. That's where I went, Johannesburg. Yes, I went to Johannesburg, and I went to Sun City. So in the video, you see that's that man-made beach.
Isn't that something? Yes, I don't know how to feel about that, frankly.
It was cement. What wasn't it?
You know what? It's the lost. They call it the lost city, and it's like, why do you need to add all this stuff? I don't know. Africa's Africa already. You know what I mean?
I know.
Put a hat on a hat.
I know. So now, but you worked in Sun City, didn't you?
I did. For 6 years, I was a showgirl.
A what?
A showgirl.
Oh, okay.
Feathers and G-strings. And
what?
Yes, so I did that for 6 years, and because I wasn't singing or acting or anything like that. I had trained as a dancer, and that was it. But I had married a farmer when I was 20, and that marriage fell apart. About 6 years later, and that's when I started dancing. I started dancing at age 27. I was a late bloomer.
Wow.
And then when I finished there 6 years later, I thought that was it. I thought I'd done the impossible.
Right.
Accepting that I had a tiny voice that I could mess around with. And I thought I'd do one last contract, and I actually came to New York and auditioned for the Monte Carlo summer season as a dancer, which I did. Went over there and danced for Whitney Houston and MC Hammer.
Oh my goodness.
So that I worked like a dog. And while I was there, I auditioned to sing in the cabaret. And I got it. And so I stayed for another 2 years singing in the cabaret there. That was my introduction to singing professionally.
Right. It's interesting. So many of us, I lost my light here. What the heck happened? See these ring lights? You got to buy a good one. I bought a cheap one. All right.
My light is bright. Yeah, that's better.
It's so interesting that so many of us started out as dancers.
Yes.
And then through having to do it, then we started singing. You know what I mean? And who knew, right? Who knew? Right? Exactly. Well, this is awesome. Good. Yes. And we ended up on the Broadway. Who knew? So now go ahead.
I don't really know how you got there. I would love to know that story. I don't know if I'm going to have time to tell that today.
Of what?
Your story to the Broadway.
To the Broadway. You know, it was interesting. I auditioned. I was at the Performing Arts High School.
Yes.
And I graduated and I went a year to City College. They had just opened up the Leonard Davis Center at City College. So I went there, but it wasn't really that challenging because PA was very challenging. And so the first year of the Leonard Davis Center at City College, they were still trying to get themselves together. And I was so bored. And I literally went to an open call for Guys and Dolls, the Black version of Guys and Dolls. It was like 200 people. And that's when you still auditioned in the theater, on the stage, and, all of that. And they were only looking for a male swing and a female swing. And I didn't even know what a swing was. And I just saw it in the old-fashioned backstage paper, paper magazine. And I was like, oh, it's a Broadway show. I'm going to go and audition for that. And sure enough, I went and I auditioned, and they hired me. And I forget the other guy's name, the guy that they hired. And then the rest is history. Just kept going. And
I love that story. Yes.
Yeah. You just never know, So now I also want to tell folks. So the last time we were on, we had a surprise guest who was BB Newworth. And throughout the evening, we gave hints as to who it might be. Now, I'm going to give a hint because we do have a surprise guest for this evening as well. Now, I gave a hint on one of my Facebook blasts, but I'm going to give it again. This is my first hint. And whoever gets who this is, I will make a donation for you to the Actors Fund. I'll make a $50 donation, and you will get a copy of my book, The Little Black Book. Where is it? The Little Black Book of Backstage Etiquette. Can you see it right there? So yeah, okay. So the first hint is her first Broadway show was in 1969. And it was, I don't know if I should say the name of it because then you might get it too quickly. But it was in 1969. So that I'm going to leave it there. That's the first, the first hint as to who our surprise guest is. Okay, so just put the guess in the comments and we'll see who gets it. Okay, so now if you would like to make a donation, all you have to do is go to, let me see, I had to write it down. I had to, let me see, you go to starsinthehouse.com, or you can text Fund 2020 to 56512 forward to donations at starsinthehouse.com. Let's get up to $500,000, right? Let's do that. Okay, so now, Amra, you know this next lady as well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
I do.
Yes. Let's put on the next video, Hudson. Okay. See if everyone knows who this is. My God, these photos, I was looking through these photos and I was hooping.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
I
I've
know.
seen these. I've seen these. These are look at that.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. Look at her. So Donna Marie is the queen of Chicago the musical. She was there for 100 years. And she did 20,000 performances of look at her. And she now holds, doesn't she hold the Guinness Book of Records or something like that?
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Oh.
That happened recently.
And she did a fabulous cabaret down at 54 Below. There's with Hubby Cleve. Oh, it was such a good show. And there's Greg again. And that's her daughter. Oh my God. Look at that. All right, Donna Marie. Now there's a story behind Donna Marie and I. I don't know if she remembers it, but I call her Eve and she calls me Margot. From All About Eve. Donna Marie, where are you, my love?
Oh my God.
Oh, hello, Eve.
Margot, I cannot stop smiling. It's ridiculous. And I have to stop drinking the tequila because I'm going to start to slur.
Uh-huh. So here is Donna Marie Asbury. Oh my God. Welcome, Donna.
Can
so
I
tell
just let me say to start out with how much I love the both of you, like from the bottom of my soul. Like
oh my God.
I sat in Chicago and I watched a lot of women come through those doors. And I can honestly say, when both of you came through the doors, I was like, yes. I can't talk about everybody. But there was never a moment where I was like, these women are fantastic. Like
I think we were old school. Right?
Oh, old school. Yes. And Brenda, what you said about Chicago, you know, yes, young people can do it. But I think Chicago is the one show where you actually get better.
I agree.
The older you get, because you just have more life behind you, and you know. And for me, and I'm sure you agree, that you just trust the material more.
Yes,
the longer you're in it, because it's just flawless. Like you just go, okay, I'm just going to say the lines, and it's going to work. You know,
you realize you don't have to do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
You don't have to do a lot. Yeah.
No, you do not have to work that hard. You just have to say the lines. Trust the direction and the choreography, and you're like, boom, I'm a star.
Yeah. Now, Donna, I have never heard the story of how you got Chicago. I've never heard this story.
You know what? It's really interesting because my husband and I had moved to California. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what year it was. And we had just finished doing the California company of Beauty and the Beast, which was, I think, 94 to 96, because my daughter was born in 96. I had actually gotten pregnant during the run of Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
And I didn't have a dancer's track. I had a singer's track. So I literally was able to stay in the show until I was 7 months pregnant. And those sweet costume people just kept putting elastic in my waist. And I looked like I was just the villager that ate a lot of fettuccine Alfredo, you know. And then it was as if, you know, Jacqueline in my tummy knew that after 7 months, she could literally pop out. So then I looked pregnant, you know. Wow. And I went back to the show about 3 months after I'd given birth to Jacqueline. And then the show closed unexpectedly. And I was so happy because, you know, Amra, you know this, you have such guilt leaving your child and going back to work, and she'll never love me and all of this stuff. And then what I used to say is, God thought, you know, after I had Jacqueline, well, you're going to dance again. So there were all of these regional roles, regional cheetah roles, like Nikki and Sweet Charity and Rosie and Bye Bye Birdie. And right before I auditioned for Chicago, I had agreed to do Anita in West Side Story. In Austin, Texas. It's a theater that is no longer there, but it was just amazing productions. Sebastian Lacaze with my Bernardo, and it was really an incredible production. So I get this call for Chicago, and I'm like, I don't think I can go. I'm not a good enough dancer. And my agent and both my husbands were like, you're going to go. And both Cleve and I auditioned for the Broadway show. We auditioned in California. We flew ourselves on our own dime to the callback in New York. Annie is there and Walter is there, and I'm like peeing in my pants. And we do the audition, and we come back to home to California. And we both hear, thank you so much, but we're not interested right now. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Literally 2 weeks later, I get a call asking for my availability for the national tour, the Roxy Company, which starred Charlotte Gamboise and Jasmine Guy. And by this time, I had already signed a contract to do West Side Story. So I was like, I can't get to you guys till like 6 weeks. And they literally hired somebody else for 6 weeks on the tour. And then when I was done with West Side Story, I joined the national tour in December of 1997. And then I joined the Broadway company March of 99.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many performances did you actually do?
Oh, I think, it's impossible to count because of sick days and vacations, but I think approximately 7,700 shows.
Didn't you play Velma out on the?
Yes, a funny story is I used to call myself Velmula because I was the understudy, and I was on both tours. I was in the Roxy Company, and then they moved me to the Velma Company, and then they moved me to Broadway. And in both companies, they had hired somebody to be Velma, and for some reason or other, it didn't work out, and I was the understudy, and they would move me up. It happened in both companies. I was like, I'm Velmula. I'm like sucking the blood. And it was never my intention. I was hired as June. I loved being a cell block tango girl. It just was never in my, when I auditioned, I never even read for the understudy of Velma. It was because I had replaced somebody who was understudying her that it was just automatically given to me. Like I had never even read it. It was ridiculous.
Wow. So now Amra and I said that we have seen some folks go through Chicago, but I know you have seen some folks.
Yeah. Have we got some stories?
Honey, we're writing a book. We're all writing a book with Greg Butler. Greg Butler, we love you.
We love you, Greg. We need to know from you. Yes.
Greg Butler directed both mine and Amra's club acts. So he was a brilliant, sweet, wonderfully talented man. Yeah, I mean, wow.
When Rob Bowman.
Love some Rob Bowman too. Tell you that much.
We love Rob Bowman. Rob Bowman was my musical director in 54 Below. So yeah, I was surrounded by love.
When I went into the show, Rob Bowman was there, and then he got sick. Remember, he got very sick, and I never had a chance. I don't think I ever had a chance to do the show with him because he got sick and had to leave. Yeah. So I don't think I ever did the show with him. Yeah.
It was really scary. It was really scary. And then I was so happy he came back, and he's just an angel. He's an angel. Yeah. The show is really, really lucky to have him. He put me in. He was the musical director for the tour that I started. He put me into the tour, and Greg Butler put me into the tour. Yes.
And now you and I went through the strike too.
Oh yeah, which one?
We went through the first one. The first one I went through because my first show was going to be to a track. Do you remember that?
It was the musician's strike.
Sorry, music. That's right. And they had piled all the chairs up in the. Remember that?
And it was put all chairs up where the orchestra sat, and it was going to be on a click track. They were going to pre-record it. And do you remember Kevin Richardson from the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah.
Refused. Yep. He never even got to finish his run because we were still striking.
Yeah, I was in tears. Wow. So now, Do you
Yes.
feel there was a point in your life where you realized you were crossing into your act two, or was it once you left Chicago, the musical, that your act two started, or?
You know, it sounds so cliche, and I know, you know, we've all spoken about it, but I don't know why 50 is such a big number, you know.
I know.
Actually, I turned 50 and Hurricane Sandy was literally
Oh my
there.
God.
My sweet husband had
a hurricane when you turned 50.
my sweet husband was planning a surprise birthday party and he had to postpone it because Sandy had come in. I was like, really?
My
A
God.
hurricane?
Oh my God.
You know, in the great scheme of things, people often say, you know, did you think you were going to stay that long? And no, absolutely not. I didn't think I was going to stay that long. And I was just so grateful that I was happy to be there, happy to have a job that I loved, happy to have a job that I was proud of. You ladies know this.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We were so blessed and on so many levels. You know, and I remember Bibi came to see me. Bibi Newirth came to see me the day before my last performance, and she brought me a sweet little medal because she was like, "You deserve a medal." And I have it with a sweet card, and she literally said, "So what was it like?" One day you said 20 years, and I was like, you know, I think I was 15. I said to my husband, so 20 seems like a really good number, you know, maybe I'll just go. And I wanted to go leaving proud of the product I was putting out there. You know, in my many years of Chicago, I had 2 injuries. One was it was a thoracic outlet syndrome. Baseball players get it when you do the same thing over and over again.
Oh, yes.
And remember, I was in the orgy, so we would hang from the ladder. And I remember one day I felt like a pop in my shoulder. And of course, I didn't think anything of it. And there was a matinee, and I did the evening show, and I woke up the next day, and my arm was blue and swollen. Ooh. And I went to Dr. Weiss, and he said, you know, I have to send you to a vascular guy, and if he doesn't take workers' comp, you have to go to the emergency room. Well, I had developed a blood clot. Yeah. Oh, and they had put in a catheter. I thought originally I was going to be, you know, gone from the show for 2 weeks. And they put in a catheter. And then 2 weeks later, for my follow-up, another blood clot had formed. Oh, my God. And what they realized was my first rib. I didn't even know you had a first rib right here. Like, I thought your ribs were just, you know, underneath your boobs.
You have a rib in your neck?
Yeah.
Right there it is.
Yeah, it's right there. And it was pushing down on the vein, impeding the blood flow. So they had to go back in, take literally 2 inches from my rib, remove it, and, you know, sew me back together again. And I ended up being out of the show for almost 6 months because I had to have physical therapy.
Oh my God.
And then you'll love this, like a week and a half before my 54 Below show. And this is when I know there's a guardian angel around me. I had gotten like some frozen yogurt. It was like raspberry frozen yogurt or something.
Uh-oh.
I'm home in front of my computer and I'm feeling like woozy. And I literally walked to my bathroom. It was very dramatic. I like fell on the floor and Cleve was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't feel so well." And I go in the bathroom and literally, and I'm so sorry for your audience, but I like vomit. And it looked red. But I thought, oh, it's the frozen yogurt that I have I just had. And I do the 54 Below show, and I realized, you know, Cleve and I hike all the time and we walk upstairs and all that stuff. And I realized that for a while I was walking and I couldn't catch my breath. I literally thought I was having a heart attack. And this went on. I literally dealt with this for about a month. And then finally I looked at my hubby and I said, I think I should go to the doctor. And I had developed a stomach ulcer from all of the Aleve that I was taking.
Oh my God.
To get through the show.
Oh my God.
All of you out there, stop taking Aleve and take Tylenol.
Yeah.
I want to know if that rib you had removed gave you that waist.
I know.
And if you know who was the doctor?
I wish.
Oh,
And
but Amra, you, okay.
yeah, Miss Snatch.
Oh, there's Dan Labono. My God, his birthday. I love you. Oh, yes,
Dan Labono's my gay boyfriend, and always will be.
All right, I'm gonna give one more clue. I'm gonna give another clue. Okay, let me see. Our clue to our surprise guest. Let's see. She was born in Seattle, Washington.
Oh.
And her first Broadway show was Cleo. Is that Cleo? I think that was the name of her first Broadway show. Okay, then. Yes. So, Amra-Faye.
Yes.
Do you think you're going to go back to South Africa?
Good question. I'm maybe.
And no, it's not Betty Buckley. Someone said, is it Betty Buckley? Nope. Okay.
What did she say? Oh,
someone said it was Betty Buckley.
Brenda, I'm in my soul, I am South African, and I always will be. Mm-hmm. And I know there have been people who have left South Africa and they have never looked back again. Mm-hmm. I, on the other hand, have gone back every year, multiple times a year. Mm-hmm. And I have the dearest friends there and artists of such high caliber, with cutting edge work that just astounds me. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know.
I know.
Most likely I will.
Yeah. After my trip, my friend Offense, he keeps saying, please come back. Just come back. His family was amazing. They took me into their home like I was their daughter. And that's who was at the dinner table in my little video that I had. Yeah, they just, and it was for my birthday, and they sang happy birthday to me. And I fell in love with Africa. I fell in love with South Africa. It was my first time there. And I said, you know what? I could go back. I could be there for a while. I really could be there for a while.
Oh God, you would be a star.
I think at one time you said to me, and I'm almost positive you said to me that you went to an audition that called for African-American women. And
okay, so I don't know if that's a conversation for this climate right now.
I found that so funny.
How would I know?
I love that.
Oh,
I'm African. I'm American.
I'm American, yes. Okay, and the story behind, I think this is the story behind Eve and Margot, right?
Oh, please tell me, because I don't remember.
Do you remember when I lost my voice at the top of the show?
Oh my God. And you
all that jazz?
Yes. Thinking, and everybody around me was like, Donna, sing. And I'm like, sing her.
And I think after that, it was like, thank you, Eve.
But that's happened. How many times have you been called on, Donna Marie, for that?
Oh my God, you guys!
I lost it in Cell Block, and I turned around to you and I said, "What?" And
listen, I think it was Heather Goodwin was in the show once, and she went up to Cell Block and lost her voice, and then David Warren Gibson, while he was introducing Mama Morton, he said, "And now for the rest of the show, Velma Kelly will be played by Donna Marie Asbury." Brenda, remember you hurt your back like right before class or something? And I didn't even have time to get into my Velma wig. They just put my wig in a ponytail and I finished the show. It was...
That's how life is. That's how life is. So,
honey, after Chicago, you can do anything.
Didn't you killed a bat on stage?
Oh, yeah, Brenda.
You killed a bat on stage. Didn't you roll up a newspaper like this and just...
I remember sitting there outdoors in Cell Block Tango, and we're sitting there, and all you see is this bat coming towards you, and because of the light, it's at night, and I screamed and got up and grabbed the newspaper and ran off. Carol Woods screamed. And they had to stop the show. and a stagehand came out and killed the bat.
Oh my God.
On stage. Yes.
Wow.
So there you have it. So
Okay,
I think we're going to bring out our surprise guest.
Oh, okay. All right.
So let's do a photo first. Can we do a photo, Hudson? Ha-ha!
Oh.
Now who is that leggy diva?
Wow.
Annie! Yes. How are you, Annie? Thank you for being with us. Oh my God.
You're welcome. You're totally welcome. First of all, I love the bat story. I love Margot and Ian. And, I miss out on a lot, by not being in the show. It's just good to hear all of the stories and everybody's work, and you both look all three of you look beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Look at you. Oh my God. Now I know you have
really laughing. I'm having a good time. The first show, I think that you're trying to. My actual first Broadway show was the last 2 months of Cabaret, but my first original show was Coco, and I think that's what it was. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
What?
So,
oh my God,
I know.
So now you replaced Donna McKechnie, right?
Yeah,
in a chorus line.
In chorus line. Yeah, about 2 months after the show opened, Michael Bennett wanted to take most of the New York company over to LA and San Francisco. So we opened like 2 months after the show opened. So we were the new New York company, and it was just like they were screaming and shouting and having a great old time, and I just like, wow, it was almost like being in the original company. But it was awesome to go in for Donna, because Donna is unbelievably strong, and she's got this long neck and this head with the bouffant and everything, and she does the best head snaps ever. And it's like her head's going to fall off, but it doesn't. It looks great. She started teaching me the Cassie dance, and the very first step is sort of a little glissade, sous-sus en l'air, and then, Donna McKechnie head snap in a low lunge. And my knees buckled. I said, I'm never going to be able to do this like that.
Oh, no.
But she was very nice. She was really nice to me. And, and Michael was great. He made some changes. So I felt, like some of what I was okay with at the time that was going to go in. And they couldn't have been nicer. And then, so that was it. That's what I did.
Wow. And then after that, then you replaced Gwen, didn't you? Yeah.
I replaced three monumental women. Donna, then Gwen, and I cried again. I'm never gonna get this. And then Debbie Allen in Sweet Charity, and I cried then again because I think it must be my trial by fire or something. But they were all so nice to me. And just took me in hand and whipped me into shape.
Yes. Yes. Now, and did you work on this new Fosse Vernon that they just did? Did I read that you worked on that as well?
You mean the documentary that they did? Or?
That they just did, yeah.
No, I didn't, but I was so glad that it was about Bob's work for a change, and instead of vilifying these people who were really quite wonderful to work with, and a lot of fun, so. But I did teach there at the Fosse Verdon Legacy, and I kind of roams around. Sometimes it's at Broadway Dance Center, and sometimes it's at Steps, and sometimes it's, studios that I never heard of, but they're gorgeous and beautiful. So I love teaching. It was really, really nice. It was great. Yeah. And all these people came in, marvelous dancers. I taught the trumpet solo. And
yes.
I tell you, the trumpet solo is really cool to watch, but it's incredibly cool to watch with 20 women all at the same time. Just
Oh my
really
God.
good, really good dancers. It was impressive. Yeah, there are times where I really wish Bob and Gwen were definitely alive. Let's hope there's a heaven, because it's just so wonderful to see how this style has really grown. People like it, and it's lasting. It's classic, so let's hope there's a heaven, and that they're happy with what they're doing.
You know what I loved about every time we had rehearsal with you, Annie, was, and I'm sure Amra and Brenda will agree, it was like we knew part of it was going to be story time with Annie.
I know.
And yes.
Yeah, and then
you were going to give us some great tidbits and stories. And
also the next day we were going to not be able to walk.
Well, this is true.
That's the problem with rehearsal. It's it, because you're not used to doing that many hours, of full out dancing and then perform. But it did pay off. The last time I worked with you guys, the company was splendid. And, the thing I like about the company, everybody who's ever been in it, really, the quality of the show stays, and the integrity of the show stays intact. And it's little things to kind of polish it up or remind everybody, okay, remember, think of this and that. But it's amazing that it's 24 years that it looked like it just opened. I remember saying to Fran once, I said, look, I'm doing this only because I probably should do it. You guys have been on Broadway for 18 years. I said, I suppose I should clean them up. But I was feeling guilty, I'm gonna earn my keep, So she said, "Okay, great." And then I said, "You got to know, Fran, that the people who are taking care of your show are really doing a great job. Like beautiful Greg Butler and Gary Crest and all these marvelous men and women." And I said, you have to understand that first of all, everybody has a lot of integrity on stage, but everybody who's caring for it knows how to care for it, and it just stays in such beautiful tact. Like Rob Bowman, who was just on. He texted me while I was watching you guys behind the screen, and he said, "Are you going to be on?" I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Oh, my love." And then he did the ticker tape here. Do you know that? You know that he's back in the hospital?
Yes, Gary.
Yeah. Okay. Because he likes lots of attention.
Doesn't he though?
Which is it's delightful to give him attention because he's so sweet and endearing. Yeah. Anything funny and anything musical, but he's been staying in touch, and he seems to be pretty good. But talk about integrity, he does too.
Oh, absolutely.
I watch him teach musically, and I go, he really. It was almost like he might have been Bob's love child somewhere down the pike. Major insight into how it should be.
So, Annie, did you ever have, getting back to the whole Act 2 thing, did you ever feel like you had a definite Act 2? I know you've had challenges throughout your whole career, but did you feel like you had an Act 2, even if it wasn't at your 50-year-old mark? You know what I mean? Was there a definite point?
Yeah, I knew I had to do some changes, and if I wanted to stay in something that I love, so then I started working on choreography and teaching, and I enjoyed both, and and kind of said a little prayer. Oh, just let me, every actor's dream. Just let me go on once more, God, please. And I did. I mean, all of a sudden, I wasn't supposed to play Roxy. There was somebody else was supposed to play it for the Encore series, and it didn't happen at the last minute. So everybody started looking at me, and I'm going, "Oh my God, I'm 20 pounds overweight. I'm not in shape, and so forth." And then Walter Bobby said, "Oh, Ann, you could bowl your way through 4 shows." And I said, "I could bowl my way through 4 shows." So I did, and then it just blossomed into this. So, that little prayer was answered, and it helped me so much to be able to have done something in what one considers a performer and a dancer, especially your twilight years, and to have a show that is meant for mature people as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a good fit. So it wasn't a dream come true that it happened. And it is, I will tell you, Donna Marie commenting, I did it at 26 and I did it at 46, and you're better at 46.
Yep.
As long as you keep yourself in shape, you know.
Absolutely.
You just understand it ever so much better. You know?
Yeah.
It works both ways. I'm not saying you can't do one for the other, but there's something about all that knowledge that you have from just living.
Yeah.
It comes out through the eyes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like I don't know if it was Gwen or Bob, but it always stuck in my head. There has to be a lot of no in your eye. And at first I thought it was N-O, and that confused me. And then he said, no, A-N-O.
No, the knowledge.
A lot of knowledge, a lot of know-how. Stuff has happened to you and so forth. Because Bob's an old soul, and so is Gwen. Well, Gwen was the perennial child, and never kind of grew up, and always was this very endearing, adorable person. But it didn't matter when she started getting older. That knowledge that she had, she put it with the ingenue, the gamine, and that's, I think, why one of her greatest roles are her last 2, Sweet Charity and
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I remember, I would sit on the sidelines and we'd have a lot of Roxy's, older, younger, middle, whatever. And when the younger ones would come and say, I'm older than I ever intended, I thought, did you intend to know?
I know. Oddly enough, it works anyway.
It does.
It's a funny line. But you have to kind of do it like, a child. I'm older,
Didn't Cheetah play Roxy in Vegas when she was in her 60s or something?
Yes.
Oh my God.
She said, I'm going to have a baby, and the whole audience erupted.
That's funny.
But that's the beauty of the show. That's the gift of the show.
Yeah. You can grow up in it. You're right if you're young, and you're right if you're older, and you have the grace to be able to grow up in front of a Broadway audience for as long as you want, in a way.
Yes. Well, ladies, that's a whole hour right there.
Wait, before we go, I have written you a birthday poem.
Oh, happy birthday.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm spelling out your name because that's how childish I am. Ready? B is for bodacious. I can't think of a better way to describe you. R is for resilient. No matter what you face or have faced, you manage to make lemonade out of lemons.
Truly.
That is
E is for electric. No explanation needed. N is for naughty. Like that time you came out for the chair scene and it was too cold in the theater and you wore a sweater.
A sweater, yes, I know. That's going down in history. But it was a black sweater. It was a black sweater.
It was a black sweater and it was so cold.
Right.
D is for dynamic, which is how I see you. A is for amazing, adorable, alluring. I couldn't choose one. Birthday, Margot. Love, Eve.
Thank you, Eve. Ladies, I love you. I love you.
God.
This has been so lovely.
Can we just do this next Friday, just all together?
Now that I know you're having a glass of whatever, I abstain courteously, but next time.
Is it COVID or not? I didn't.
I know. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
An amazing birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Love you. Love you. Oh my God. That was just amazing. And ranking. Oh my God. That is just what can you say? And my two ladies, Amra-Faye Wright and Donna Marie Asbury, you are so fierce, 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 fierce. Thank you again, Seth, for this opportunity to bring my Act 2 Now What to stars in the house. And we will see you later. I have one thing to say. This is my parting little poem. May this day find you at peace and leave you with hope. So, thank you all. Be safe, be kind to one another, and we will get through this. This too shall pass. What doors will you be opening and what doors will you be closing? Okay. Bye.